All right. So today I want to answer a bunch of different questions in one fell swoop. So today we're going to tackle how to avoid reincarnation, if that's what you want to do, how to transcend reincarnation, how to achieve physical immortality, how to hold on to your awareness so that you don't have to forget by reincarnating. Also, we're going to tackle in this one, we're going to focus all this into one answer of how to achieve your greatest satisfaction and happiness in this life, and how to achieve your financial prosperity, to have all of the money that you want, unlimited wealth if you want it, and also how to reverse aging, how to heal disease. All of these things are found in one answer. And if you can understand how to put 3 or 4 different things in line with each other, you end up with this one core answer. The truth is that the universe that we live in is a hologram. It's not linear. So in other words, you can't have you can't have perfect health and be disconnected from your soul. You can't have both of those. In other words, you can't be somebody who goes around and destroys other people's lives, using and destroying other people, and have perfect health. You can't have your perfect career, your perfect income and comfort in life, and be stressed out and full of fear. And people think that like people spend there are people my age whose lives are basically over. This is why most people, when they get little my age or older than that, they start to think about retiring, because they're broken down and they're sick and they just want to, I'm thinking of a very good friend of mine who's, my age, and there's just no way in hell he could do the things that I do physically. There's just no way he could do it. But what you find with all of these same people is that they don't understand their relationship to the matrix. They don't understand their relationship to their own soul. There are techniques and practices that have been discovered by shamans from all over the world of how to tap into the infinite force of life force energy that surrounds us at all times. So we're going to talk about all of that, and a lot of this is going to come in the questions today. What sparked me to talk about this was some questions that I keep getting. I come on here and I will talk to you about reincarnation a lot, and I'll explain to you why we incarnate, why we reincarnate, what the purpose of all that is, what the purpose of challenging lives are. And even though I explain it, and I think that I'm explaining it in a way that everybody can understand it, I still get the same question. Even after watching me for 2 hours explain why we reincarnate, somebody will ask the question, yeah, but if I'm so infinite and perfect before I incarnate, why would I choose to have so much challenging pain? Why would I choose to have been born? It's like they didn't hear anything that I said. And what it tells me is that, and I understand it because I used to think this way also, is that the tremendous pain, people just want to escape their pain. So I want to attack that a little bit. There's nothing wrong with wanting to escape pain. I want to feel good all the time. Trust me. I mean, if you knew anything about me, I spend my whole life doing everything I can to feel good all the time. So I'm not against feeling good all the time at all. In fact, I think it's your absolute responsibility to feel good as often as you can. But that can't work if you're coming from a place of weakness. And by weakness, I mean wanting to escape. And if you operate from a false belief that you are limited, that you are a victim, that anything has power over you, whether it be old age, whether it be the government, whether it be disease, whether it be beings of light, aliens, reptilians, demons, God. And I'm not saying any of those things don't exist. I'm saying if you believe that those things have power over you, then you are automatically have to put yourself into a mindset of weakness. And then from a place of weakness, people ask these questions. Well, if I was in infinite bliss, then why did I choose to have all these problems in my life? You gotta get out of that mindset. And if you can't get out of that mindset, you won't be able to link all of these things together. All of these things are linked together. Immortality, reversing aging, healing disease, being happy, being able to create the life that you want, having financial prosperity. These are all one core issue. And there are multiple factors that weigh in on each other. In fact, it's like a collective. It works together. Being prosperous, being happy, being healthy, being powerful, having spiritual powers and gifts. These are all things that work together as a whole. And if you take one of those ingredients out, the whole thing will fall apart. So we've got a lot of people running out there trying to make a lot of money, and they end up dying of some horrible disease. You got a lot of people out there trying to escape their pain, but they end up creating more pain because they believe that they're victims. You have people out there trying to escape reincarnation, and the fear that drives them and the pain that drives them to seek to be free of the cycle of reincarnation only creates a stronger connection to come back and be reincarnated and be unhappy. And it gets frustrating for me because people get wrapped in this self-referential false system of thinking that, no matter what I say, they can't pull themselves out of it. I want to be specific. There's somebody, if he or she is watching, they know who I'm talking about. I got so frustrated with somebody yesterday on the comment section that I started yelling at them in all caps, stop doing the craziness. Just stop already. Do what I'm telling you to do. Take some action. Here's the deal. If people, seriously guys, the people who follow me and who work with me, these are mostly people who work with me directly. When you follow my directions to the letter consistently, the changes that happen in your life would have been impossible to even imagine. Sometimes it takes months before you start to see it. But the people who follow my directions to the letter and do it consistently, you can talk to them yourselves. So we're going to talk about that today. So what I did, you may have seen the video I just put up, which is whenever I create a new page that I'm offering a service, I'll create a little intro video. I just made that intro video and I just published it, and I put it up on this website, immortality.thunderwizard.com. Now, I do have a page called immortal.thunderwizard.com, which is the immortality, becoming an immortal meditation, the Taoist practice and meditation and mudra and all that. And I teach more than that. I go in depth explaining what the mindset is that you need to have to understand all that. Besides that, I also added the Exit the Matrix package, the 4 tools to exit the matrix. And in that one, we have create your, discover your perfect career or something like that. And the reason why I use that is because most people are looking for money. There are 2 things that people are looking for: money and love. First one is usually money. So the truth is that this whole idea of needing money is ridiculous. I know you're saying that it's not, but I'm telling you it is ridiculous. Because when you operate from your highest awareness, when you are connected to your true self, and you go after the desires of your soul, which may be different from the desires of your head, when you go after the desires of your soul, the universe has to pay you money to survive. So your perfect career is being your authentic self. So in that teaching, I teach people how to ask all of the questions. And if you want to become a life coach and teach people how to do this, you can do that with that course, the Find Your Perfect Career course, if you want to. I haven't offered that certification, but if you just practice that, you can go teach it. It's real simple. There's just a simple set of questions that you ask somebody, and then they reveal what their perfect career is. Most of the time, they are either completely unaware that that's what they wanted, or they don't understand how they can make money doing that. But I'm telling you, the universe, the matrix that will trap you, and I want to be clear, the matrix will definitely trap you if you don't understand who you are, your relationship to the matrix, and how the matrix works. If you don't understand those things, then you will become trapped. You'll also become trapped in reincarnation too. You know, the discussion that I was having online with somebody was, well, if every time somebody, ends their own life, and if then when they come back, their life becomes more difficult, then wouldn't that force them to want to end their life, and so they get in this cycle? That's a real possibility. I won't lie to you. There are people now, the people that you see that are just so screwed up. Maybe you're one of them. I was really screwed up for a lot of my life. They just can't seem to get anything working no matter how hard they try. They're sick, they're miserable, they're poor, they're in debt, they're addicted to drugs and alcohol, they got dysfunctional, abusive relationships. And you can just see in them that they just can't get it together. No matter how hard they try, they just dig themselves into a deeper hole, which makes them more desperate, which makes them do more actions based in fear, which creates more problems, which makes them more desperate. So, and that's true. You could get into a cycle of recurring reincarnation lives where you're just making it worse for yourself every single time. That's why I say, when you realize that you can't escape your victim mentality just because you die, you can't escape it. It follows you, which means that you create that, and it gets stronger with each successive life that you don't understand your true soul nature. If you know that that's true, then stop complaining. Drop the victim mentality and look at what you can do to become your greatest, most powerful, most happy self, which probably will mean that you will have to look at some uncomfortable things on a psychological level, and you'll probably have to put a lot of discipline towards reversing the habits that you've made for yourself in your unconscious mind about how to deal with the world. The truth is that people would much rather be victims. Listen, any of you listening to me who believe that the matrix is a trap, any of you who believe that the matrix is a soul trap, any of you listening to me who believe that there are beings out there who are conspiring to keep you trapped, I guarantee you prefer being a trapped victim. You don't like hearing that, do you? It is absolutely the truth, because the overwhelming evidence that you can't see when you are in a victim mentality is that the matrix is saying, I'm waiting to give you everything that you want. You just got to own it and tell me that's what you want. I'm waiting. Got this blank check. I'm waiting. Your body. Let's talk about your physical body. Your physical body is designed to be an immortal vessel for your soul. And so that means every time you reincarnate, you're given this vessel that is designed to be immortal. the organs of your body and the cavities within your brain, when they are developed and when they are opened, actually become these capacitors that start to change you and change the world around you, and you become this capacitor to take on more life force energy and transform it. You're actually designed to be this being that walks around on the earth that's like a superhuman. You know, the reason why we're so into superhero movies is because we intuitively know that that's real, that we can achieve things like that. But in order for that to happen, you're going to have to do the work, put the discipline in to raise the vibration of the cells in your body. The 5 organs, which are connected to the 5 elements. The 5 organs, when they are stimulated, also become capacitors. That you can take this energy that's flowing in the universe and you transform it in this physical body, and you actually, I mean, it's hard for me to explain unless you've experienced it. You can't do that if you're a victim. You can't do that if you're poor. You can't do that if you're sick. But when you understand all these other things, the universe lines up for you and everything falls into place. It doesn't mean that you get a pass on all of the challenging karma that you have to go through. In fact, while you're going through this process, you will face, for some people, intolerable emotional challenges. And this is, part of the frustration when I hear people constantly complaining, like, listening to the guy yesterday complain about, obviously wanting to end his life and wanting to escape. And the frustration is that the whole thing that's driving him to do that is just going to create more of that for him later. And all you have to do is stop, face up to it, and now you're going to have to go through some challenging discipline in order to turn things around. But you're going to have to do it at some point. If you don't do it in this life, you're going to have to do it in another life. You can't escape it. And it's much easier to do it while you have the awareness of it now than to die and then have your hard drive wiped clean and then start over again from scratch. And then you'll have to go on pure instinct. Your instincts will still be there. Your instincts will still be telling you what to go, where to go and what to do. But you'll have to relearn everything, and that's the challenge of it. So this is why the Taoist wizards weren't seeking to end reincarnation and become enlightened the way that the East Indians are looking to do. The Taoists wanted to hold on to their current awareness. And so instead of going through the reincarnation cycle and getting, doing the spiritual work so that each successive life would be closer and closer to the ideal, they decided to stay alive forever and do the work with one awareness. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I had given up caring about either way. I don't spend any of my time thinking about how to become enlightened. I don't spend any of my time thinking about how to become an immortal. I used to, and that was why I was celibate for 6.5 years, because I was actually working with a very esoteric, powerful, energetic, shamanic practice, which when you get to a certain level, you die and you come back to life and you have all kinds of superpowers. And I stopped caring about that when I met my teacher's teacher, who had achieved that level. There's levels above that. He had achieved that. And his power was unbelievable. And, you couldn't tell his age. You could tell he was older. Like me, he had gray hair. But the gray hair actually, I won't get into that. You could tell he was older because he had gray hair. But other than that, it was hard to pinpoint how old he was. But the reason why I gave up on that was because he didn't have the emotional maturity. He was still a bully, and he was still destructive. And then I went, whoa, hang on a second. So the immortality thing isn't an end in itself, because you can still be a jerk and you can still cause a lot of damage and problems. So I gave up on that because I said, it's more important for me that I have love for myself and that I'm loving towards others. And for me, the truth is, the reason why I don't give a crap about immortality or reincarnation or any of it is because the only thing that matters is love. The only thing that matters. And there is nothing more fulfilling than being in a loving relationship with somebody that you truly love and who truly loves you. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. So once I saw that, that's what I went after. But what has happened as a result of a lot of the things that I've learned, including that just the, striving after immortality or power or any of that, once I realized that in itself was a hamster wheel, and I got off of that. What has happened since then is that the positive effects of learning to integrate all of these understandings into my life path have become really clear. I said you see on the video that I just put up, and I'm not lying to you, this has been happening successively. This is the fourth young woman that I've spent time with who has said the same thing. They want to know how old I am, and so I either tell them how old I am or they want to guess. And according to them, they think that I look like I'm 40 or 45. And when I tell them that I'm 56, they can't believe it. I swear to God, it's really nice. All I care about is feeling good. If I looked 100 years old and I was able to go out and surf every day and go into the gym and lift heavy, I wouldn't care. I just want to feel good and be happy. But to hear that, I'm realizing that there's something to that, which means that those 6.5 years that I was celibate, working towards the immortality, the Taoist immortality, that changed my organs and it changed the cells of my body to such a degree that I'm still benefiting from it. So I want to share this with you guys. This immortality.thunderwizard.com link has all of the factors you need, because you can't have just one. Like I told you, if you just had the immortality esoteric meditation practice, you might see some physical benefits from that, but you would still be emotionally and psychologically potentially unconscious and destructive. One of my teachers, who has accomplished a lot, is still constantly struggling with money. And that's because of his own psychological unconscious blocks towards his own success. So he's, so even though he has a lot of power, he's constantly, complaining about not having any money. Also, he doesn't have any love in his life. So you have to have all of these things. And so that's what this is. I deal with all those things in that one link. And that's why I put it together. Because it dawned on me that you have to have all of these things. And that's why it's important not to just come onto this channel and listen to me. It's great to come and watch my videos. I want you to watch my videos. But it's important that you actually do the work. Whether it's doing the meditations, doing the free Qigong. I've got over 700 videos now on my channel. There's free Qigong on there. Go do that. Go do the Thor's Hammer. Go do the Hool Breath. Just spend your whole life doing that. That'll give you the energy that I'm talking about. Read the book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. Apply that in your life. Learn to do that. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about that. So, I'm going to go ahead and see if there are any questions. All right, so, we've got a few questions here. Ben Vinar, questions. Sorry, it's off topic, but I've been wanting to know the significance of the black sun wheel swastika. Those are two different things. A swastika is one thing, a sun wheel is something else. I mean, they're both connected, but what is the significance of the swastika? The swastika is the Vedic word in the European tongue, which they're the same thing, by the way. So a lot of people think that that Europeans adopted the swastika and used it in political things. They didn't. It was already, it's been in Europe ever since, human beings have been there. Comes from the same root Indo-European source. But the truth is that it's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to avoid. What I'm trying to do is I want to make sure that all my videos are able to get monetization. So I'm avoiding certain trigger words. But people who use that symbol for their political leanings and for their other, pet projects actually have it completely backwards, because the swastika, the philthought, is it is a symbol of the protection of human life. And so people who take that, and especially if they put it on their bodies, and promote the exact opposite of that, are people who are guaranteed going to rebirth in a life where they will be the object of discrimination. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So, I mean, I don't want to spend time talking about that, but it has to do with the thunder god as he's rolling through, the sun, rolling through the world, bringing health, destroying negativity, all those kinds of things. Ben Vinar question: are the top 2 chakras above the 5 elemental chakras made of a combination of multiple elements? No. Too much thinking. That doesn't serve you to figure that out. But I'm going to say no to that question. Naomi Zamet. All right, so if anybody is new to this, if you want to write a question to me, because this is a question and answer, write the word question. We're doing okay today because there's not a lot of people on there, but when we get a ton of people on there, then I have to scroll through everybody's nonsensical babblings to get to the questions. If you don't write the word question, I pass you by, because I don't know if you're asking a question. Naomi Zamet says, I'm sleeping a lot since becoming aware of my higher consciousness. Will this last long? Does it? I don't know. If you're sleeping a lot because the energy in your body is raising the vibration of your body, maybe it's healing you, maybe you're going through a detox period. Sleeping is essential for the regeneration of the cells. It could be because on a psychological level, if you, as you say, you're becoming aware of your higher consciousness, it means that you are reversing unconscious blocks towards living your life, which means that the psyche has to readjust, which is a lot of sleeping. People don't realize, but sleep isn't as necessary for the physical body as it is for the psyche. I believe there have been documented, there's been documentation of people with multiple personalities who barely sleep. And when you talk to them, what they'll say is that, oh yeah, you ask them, where's, Johnny, if Johnny's another personality. So, oh, Johnny's asleep right now. So the sleeping is for us to get our psyche together and to get rid of information we don't need and all that kind of stuff. So if you're sleeping a lot, it may be because you're going through a psychological shift. It also may be because there's a lot of, if you're becoming aware of your higher consciousness, then there's some unresolved psychological issues that are challenging and painful that your mind has a hard time dealing with right now. So sleep is a way of avoiding trauma as well. So I don't know you. It could be any one of those things. I would have to talk to you to find out more information. Ben Vinar question: do you practice sun gazing? No, I don't. He says, I hear a lot of health benefits. I hear a lot of health benefits about a lot of things. Drinking your own bodily effuse. People do that and say that there's benefits in that. There's a lot of crazy things people, especially, they go on YouTube and they find all kinds of craziness. YouTube is a great resource, but, take everything, including everything that I say, with a grain of salt. Naomi Zamet, is that a question? Do I have tips for hydration? Nope. Just drink water. Nope. Yeah, Ben, I know the symbol that you're talking about. Like I said, I want to keep my I want to keep my channel open for ad revenue, so I'm not going to mention those trigger words. All right, let's see. Nope, I don't see any more questions here. So if you don't ask me a question, then what ends up happening is I got to sell you stuff. So right now, what's happening is that I have to pay my taxes. So what I've done is I have slashed all of the prices of all of my services. So for that, you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, courses.thunderwizard.com. We're going to talk about that right now so that I can pay my taxes and keep doing this work. It's tax time. What that means for you is 50% special on all of my products and services that you get through this courses.thunderwizard.com link, except for books and DVDs, which are Amazon and the Patreon subscription. Everything else, I have reduced prices by sometimes 2/3. And that is because even though the Thunder Wizard is a very accomplished spiritual practitioner and teacher, he is an idiot when it comes to accounting. And so I have this huge tax bill that I have to pay, and I need money to pay it. So if you want to keep me off the streets, and if there's something that you've wanted that you've been either saving up for or waiting for a special, now is the time. You can clean up. So if you go to courses.thunderwizard.com, you're going to see all of my products and services. And on there, you're going to see a bunch of them will have a discount attached to them. Now, just because it doesn't say 50% discount on the link, don't let that stop you from going to the link and checking it out. I'm going to walk through all of the ones that I know of. So first off, we have the Becoming an Immortal video series. Now, this is something that I made a while ago because people were wanting to know about an esoteric Taoist spiritual practice called the method of holding the three ones, which allows you to become an immortal. Now, from the Taoist perspective, an immortal doesn't mean that you live forever in this body or that you achieve enlightenment. It means that you raise your energy vibration in your body and all the cells of your body to such a degree that you phase out of existence and you become a god. For them, that was one way that they could achieve enlightenment, because then you don't have to be reincarnated. You can remember who you are and what your past life was and keep all of your memories, and you can become a god. That is the Becoming an Immortal series that you'll find on there. Second one, this one I get asked for this all the time. This is the 2-for-1 certification special. And that one, I give you 2 certifications for the Vedic astrology, the Thunder Wizard Vedic astrology, and the Thunder Wizard rune reading certification. Now, I can't even begin to tell you how many hundreds of hours of teaching are on these videos. And normally you would have to get them each separately. But now you can just pay for one and you get both certifications. When you become certified, which means that you've studied all the videos, you take a very simple test with me to let me know that you know the material, then you will become certified. You will become an official Thunder Wizard, either both Vedic astrologer and rune reader. You will get your own web page. I will put you on the pages for that, astrology.thunderwizard.com. You will be one of my astrologers. And for the runereadings.thunderwizard.com, you'll be one of my rune readers. You can use that page for yourself. You can go and advertise your business. You can, if you give me different links, I'll put links on your specific page. Just the service of putting up a page for you is worth the price of the certification. And so you've got that going on. We have the I've reduced the distance energy cleansing service that I did. Remember, I was giving it away, almost giving it away as I was introducing it. Then I raised the price significantly. I've dropped that down again. almost back to where it was in the beginning. All of your Vedic astrology, I'm going back to, I'm taking off like 70% of what I used to charge for my readings. You can get an astrological reading from me. Let's see, the 4 tools to exit the matrix. That is also still at a savings level. The 5 rules to master the matrix. I've cut prices on that. The career consultations. To get a career consultation from me, I have slashed the prices on those as well. All of those links for all of those services and those teachings can be found at courses.thunderwizard.com. So, even though, as I said, many of you have thanked me, your teachings have saved my life, I've learned a lot and all of that, and I enjoy all those compliments, and I think that I've come up with some pretty wonderful and innovative ways at looking at traditional spirituality. But as I said, when it comes to managing my money, I'm an idiot. And so for that reason, you get to save a bunch of money now. Now, as soon as I have enough money to pay my taxes, my prices are going to go back to where they normally are. So I can't guarantee you how long this special is going to last, but take advantage of it now. If there's something that you've wanted to learn from me, other than the apprenticeship or the books and DVDs you get on Amazon, almost everything else, the prices have been slashed significantly. So take advantage of them. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com, shop to your heart's content, and help me to pay my taxes. Thanks a lot. Alrighty, so we're back. Is that what I want? I want that. Yep. All right. So I'll see if there's any more questions here. No more questions. All right. So let's see if I can put into words what I'm trying to say here. I guess what I'm saying is that what I've come to realize is that when it comes to things having to do with really this works in any area, your love life, your financial life, your physical health, your psychological well-being, your spiritual well-being, that the way that the matrix works, which you have created, is that it responds directly to the belief that you've chosen to adopt. So, unlike the law of attraction that says that your thoughts and your feelings are what dictate what comes to you, which is really your thoughts and your feelings, I'm going to say, are about 5% important. The rest of the 95% of which dictates what comes to you is based on your beliefs and your actions. Your feelings come as a result of your beliefs and your actions. Your thoughts are usually reactions as well. They can also be things that bubble up from your unconscious, which your unconscious is what you choose to believe. If you go through trauma as a child in order to survive, you will adopt false understandings about the universe as a whole in order to survive in the crazy universe you grew up in. But the problem is, once you've adopted those false beliefs, then when you go out into the real world, those false beliefs then end up dictating the rest of your life. So on the one hand, it's frustrating for me because I hear people continuously complaining about the same things over and over and over again. And they come on my channel and they watch my channel and they get an intellectual understanding of what I'm saying, but they don't actually do the work. And so nothing changes, and they keep asking the same questions and complaining about the same things, and it's frustrating for me. Because the one thing I can't do for you is I can't climb inside your body and make you do the work. I can't make you do that. But your life is a direct result of the matrix reflecting back to you the beliefs that you have adopted and are completely unaware of. And the challenging part about this is that once those beliefs become ingrained, and I'm talking about beliefs that many times are a result of trauma. You know, you grew up in an abusive home, you lived through a war, there was some trauma or tragedy or multiple traumas or tragedies that happened to you. And in order to survive, you take on these false assumptions and false beliefs. In order, like I said, with the false belief that that will help you survive, those get ingrained in the unconscious mind, and then you're completely clueless, but you still reflect it everywhere you go. I'll give you just a tiny example. You know, I was on OkCupid, and there was a woman not too far who is in my age bracket, but this woman was a bodybuilder, so she looked like she was in really good shape. And she was interested in meeting me. And so when the time started counting down towards us meeting, she kept on messaging and kept on saying, you know, that she's not obsessed with working out and that she's not obsessed with working all the time. And she kept on volunteering that. And I realized that there was something in my profile that said, you know, I hope that you're not, you know, I like to, you know, I work to live, I don't live to work. I hope you're the same. And so that must have triggered something in her. I can only assume it could be something that destroyed a previous relationship. I don't know, because she kept talking about it. And then as the time was coming, you know, we were waiting like a week or two to meet because she lived far away. Then she canceled at the last minute and said, I don't think you're interested because you blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I'm not obsessed with working out, and I'm not, you know, and I'm like, where did that come from? That's obviously something that she's carrying around with her that she's uncomfortable about. But, you know, and what I represent by saying, you know, I love lying around all day after I've surfed and just watched Netflix, or when I'm done with my videos, if I, you know, after I've done my walk on the beach and my swim or I've gone to the gym, I just love lying around and doing nothing. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And so I guess she was afraid that I was going to criticize her. But in order for her to get over that, she would have to face whatever unconscious false belief that's telling her that she's not a good person if she's not constantly working out and not constantly working and constantly up and doing something. You know, there's something in her she's trying to escape. And if I'm right, maybe I'm not, but if I'm right, she would have to look at that and deal with the pain and the discomfort of what it is she's running away from. Probably goes all the way back to childhood. Probably something that she picked up as a kid where her parents told her she wasn't good enough and you need to do more and you need to accomplish more and stop being so lazy. And what happens is that became a survival mechanism. In order to get mommy and daddy's love, she became an overachiever. She became a perfectionist. I don't know. I'm just giving the possible. I have no idea what her issue is. But I'm giving you a possible scenario. And for her to go through that would be very painful. What if yours is you don't make enough money? And you no matter how hard you try, you can't get money coming to your life. No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to find love. No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to get healthy. You can't seem to lose the weight. Whatever the hell it is. And it's because of things that are programmed into our unconscious that When you make the choice, because being prosperous, being healthy, achieving enlightenment, whatever the hell it is a choice that you make. Once you make that choice, you have to take action towards it. This universe is a universe of action. We think it's not, and we want to find the magic pill that's going to give us what we want. And the universe doesn't work like that. Because this universe is a responsive universe to your actions, and beliefs are actions. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I'm just babbling on and on because I'm waiting for more questions. So let's see if there's any more questions here. Nope, we don't have any more questions. All right, so what I'm going to do then, I'm going to sell you something real quick, and then if there's no more questions, I'll give up. Something else that I've created here recently, which is love astrology. So this has to do with looking at your Vedic astrology to see if you're currently in a relationship. I can take a look and see how well you guys are compatible. If you're not in a relationship, I can take a look at past serious relationships like marriages, and I'll be able to see why they didn't work out. I'll be able to see what you're destined for in future relationships, to see the kind of person that you will attract to you and what will either make or break that relationship, so that when it happens, you'll know how to handle it in case there's any karmic challenges that'll come up. All this stuff will be in your chart. So this is the love astrology reading. Whoops, that's not what I want. Is it this one? Nope. Is it? Hang on. Where'd it go? All right, it's up here somewhere. Is it Love Introvid? There it is. Okay, so I'm offering a new service, and you can find this at loveastrology.thunderwizard.com. For a while now, people have been asking me to talk more in depth about the spiritual understanding of the union of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, relationships, the divine feminine, the divine masculine. And recently I've been talking about what I believe to be some misunderstandings about the twin flame understanding and soulmates. So I have been, for myself, doing a lot of work researching love astrology. And I've been doing this for years. I just haven't offered it in my astrology readings. So you can go to loveastrology.thunderwizard.com, and while you're there, you can decide what kind of love reading you want. So we've got twin flame compatibility chart. So let's talk about that. So in Vedic astrology, which is what I practice, which in my experience for me has been far more accurate. And by the way, I never teach anything or do any service that doesn't work for me personally. I do this like every time. If I'm single and I meet somebody, I get her birth information as soon as possible, and I go in and I do these things to see if we're compatible. The woman who was without a doubt what I would consider to be a twin flame, if you want to use that word, you could see in our charts that we were in fact the same mind in two bodies. So Vedic astrology will show that. Now, it's important to be able to know the difference between an actual soulmate twin flame connection and your karmic projection. And these are lots of times mistaken for twin flame. In fact, when people will misunderstand or justify a dysfunctional codependent relationship and call it a twin flame relationship because there's so much dysfunction going on. So this can be seen in the chart as well. And I can tell you from my personal experience, whenever I've looked at astrology, Vedic astrology, and used it to see compatibility, it's always turned out to be accurate. And I could get into specifics, but I won't take up your time with that. So that is one service that I give, is the twin flame compatibility chart. So if you're dating somebody, either you just met them or you've been dating them for a while, you can, as long as you have their birth information and your birth information, you can work with me, and I'll be happy to take a look at both of those charts and let you know whether or not this is a twin flame connection or a soulmate connection, or what kind of connection you actually have. All right, the next thing that I'm going to be showing you, which is something that is really wonderful about Vedic astrology, and I've only known a couple of Vedic astrologers who actually knew how to do this, and luckily the guy that I learned from taught me how to do it. And this is, how many soulmates or twin flames will you have in your life? Obviously the idea of twin flame is there's only one, but how many of these kinds of relationships are you going to have in your life? What I can tell you, I may not be able to tell you the exact number that you'll have, but let's say you've been married and divorced and you're looking for your second marriage. Maybe you've been married twice and you're looking for your third. Maybe you've never been married. Maybe you've had an intense relationship. This is going to be in your chart, and I can be able to look at your chart and tell you. In fact, and I've done this before, like with people who have been divorced, I'll say, have you been married? And they'll say yes, and I'll say, hang on. And I'll look at their chart and I'll go, oh, I see here that you guys broke up because you fought all the time. That's right. Oh, let me take a look here. I'm seeing here that you got a divorce because he cheated on you. Yes, that's absolutely right. So this will be in the chart if you know how to look for it. So that means you can look ahead to see what kind of relationship you're going to have. You can see how the relationship will end, if it's going to end. You'll see what will keep the relationship together. So for instance, you see something like that maybe infidelity is a possibility. There are things that you can do to remedy that situation so that may not happen for you. So this is in the second package, which will tell you how many soulmates that you're going to have in your life, how those relationships are going to end. And so go to loveastrology.thunderwizard.com and you'll see all the options there. I'm really excited about this. People have been asking me to do this kind of thing for a long time, so I'm finally giving it out. So loveastrology.thunderwizard.com, and keep your eyes peeled, because on the channel we're going to be talking a lot more about relationships and the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in all kinds of different ways. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Alrighty, we're back. Okay, so let's see. I think there's a couple questions that came through here. Naomi Zamet. Question, how do I put past childhood trauma behind me when no justice came of it? Well, I don't know, and I don't need to know what the past childhood trauma is. What I'm going to say next may sound insensitive, and I don't mean it that way, but you have an assumption. Remember, everything is built on assumption. You have an assumption that if you had justice, whatever that means, that would magically make your traumas go away and you'd be healed. And that's just not the case. I mean, I don't know. It might. If we're talking about somebody that needs to be put in jail, that might make you put at ease. But I don't know that whatever you think justice is, I don't know that that's going to solve your problem. So the healing has to come from your healing. Makes me want to ask all kinds of other questions. Look, the reality is that we're not capable of healing ourselves when we've been damaged. We're not capable. I mean, there's all kinds of things we can do, towards, making ourselves better. The first one is having the mindset that says, I am going to be healthy and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to do whatever it takes to achieve that. If you're not willing to adopt that, then it's very easy for traumas and challenging things in life to just keep us trapped. This is, again, the trap of the matrix. One of the traps of the matrix. So I would drop the whole idea of, you hear how it comes across, right? How am I going to heal myself when there hasn't been justice? There's a lot of anger in there. And probably you have every right to be angry. If you have watched my videos about demon possession, which I've made a few, watch those if you haven't. What I found is that every single person that I did exorcisms on, they became demon possessed as a result of abuse, sexual, physical abuse, and they were unwilling to forgive their abuser. That creates a situation where when you're in a state of unforgiveness, it means that you're constantly reliving the pain. On an unconscious level, you're constantly reliving it. And so that sends out a message. Now, the universe is constantly sending impulses to get us to drop our resentments all the time. And the way we do that is we drop and we cry. We cry and we feel the pain and we mourn for whatever happened to us and why it happened to us. And we that's how we heal the little person inside of us. Because at whatever age you were, if you say childhood, so whatever age you were that the trauma occurred, on an unconscious level, you are still at that age. There's a part of you that has not matured past that. And so the way to heal that is to see the pain and to cry through it. Now, it's, in my experience, impossible to do that on your own. You need help. This is what psychologists are for. This is what 12-step groups are for. This is what group therapy is for. So, I don't know if you've actually sought any of that out, but just because somebody goes to therapy doesn't mean that they're going to benefit from it, because they have to, well, number one, have a therapist who's helpful, and then number two, they have to have the mindset of, I am willing to do anything to heal. And if you're not, and if you want to hold on to the right to be angry, you won't heal. And just because you choose to forgive and let go and work through that does not mean you let the abuser off the hook. They're still required. So the justice that you're seeking will come, but it will come through, I was going to say the planet Saturn. It's going to come through karmic blowback on that individual. But your job is to heal yourself, to heal the little person inside of you that went through that, and you're most likely going to need help. So my first response to you is get a therapist that deals with childhood trauma and look at it and work through it. Otherwise, you're just going to be waiting forever for a justice that will never come, and once it comes, it won't bring you happiness. This is what people have experienced. When somebody dies or somebody goes to prison or something like that, they think it's like I'm still broken. So that would be my first thing to you, is to go seek help and have the humility to let somebody else help you. I say it all the time. A brain surgeon cannot do brain surgery on themselves. You can't heal yourself of childhood trauma. Danielle Wild, question: do you know ways to help heal the nervous system from trauma from PTSD? I have greatly healed myself mentally, spiritually, but can't seem to get my body out of fight or flight hypervigilance. So that brings into question, how profound was your self-healing? Because the way that you've healed is that the body responds. Disease, when I didn't get to talk about it, but what I've come to find out is that disease is the result of unresolved conflict on an unconscious level. When you have unresolved conflict on an unconscious level that goes decades without being addressed, it ends up manifesting as a physical disease. If you're having problems on your nervous system still thinks that it's in a survival mode, which means that on an unconscious level, you're still going through the trauma. You haven't healed yourself of it. So I want to challenge you on that. You've healed yourself. But this is very common with people, myself included, who've gone through this. They isolate and they want to do it themselves. I hear it all the time. People come to my channel and I'll say, you need to get help. And they'll say, no, I think I can be my own therapist. This is coming from people who are seeing things and hearing voices. And they say, I can be my own therapist. No, obviously you can't. And listen, if you're on my channel and you want what I have, you have to do what I do. I have a therapist. I have a teacher. I have mentors. I have groups that I go to. And I still need to do it. If that's what I need to do and you want to learn from me, it'll benefit you to do what I do. Now, I don't know you. I don't know if you've done all those things or do all those things. But based on what you're telling me, you still haven't addressed the core issue. There's still something underneath in the unconscious mind that hasn't been dealt with, or the nervous system would have balanced itself by now. So to answer your question, that's where I would go. Outside of that, there's probably all kinds of things you can do. You can do the Qigong. You can do the free Qigong on my channel. You can do the celestial Qigong if you want. I'm sure there's all kinds of safe herbal remedies and blah, blah, blah. But that's my response to your question. I'm challenging that you've healed yourself. I don't think you have. Nothing personal. Yeah, and I really ask that people don't crosstalk and answer other people's questions. People are asking me, and I don't. Sometimes people give well-meaning advice, and they'll potentially send people down the wrong path. So let's try and just keep it to question and answer. You ask me questions, and I answer. We avoid the crosstalk. Okay, so Naomi. Yeah, but Naomi, you just got through, you said, I have forgiven the person. Okay, so I don't deny that you have gone through whatever you have to forgive the person, but I only know what you told me. And what you told me is, how do I put past childhood trauma behind me when no justice came of it? You obviously haven't. There's some part of you that haven't, or you wouldn't still be seeking justice and still asking the question, how can I heal myself? You obviously haven't, based on that, haven't achieved the healing that you want, and you haven't forgiven because you're still waiting for justice. So it takes more than just the intellectual. I'm going to intellectualize that I've forgiven them. Obviously, it takes more than that. Again, I would seek out the advice of a professional. To answer your question, that's what I would do. The therapist and the neurofeedback doctor told me my mind is fine. Well, good. Why is your nervous system still flipping out? Something isn't fine. You're still looking for justice. If you were fine, you would be not looking for justice. You wouldn't even be thinking about it. I just went through the most toxic relationship of my life. I got involved with somebody who, as it turned out, had really severe borderline personality disorder. And I didn't know it until I was deep into it. Of course, I had my own codependence that pulled me into it. But I went through, in the short span of a few months, I went through more personal abuse than I ever had, including my parents and everything else. It was absolutely horrific. But I've since done some work with professionals and with mentors and things like that. And I can honestly say I have no need for her to come to justice. I have no need for her to apologize. I don't have any feelings of, I don't carry around any of that. So the fact that you're carrying it around is that something's not fixed. You don't need to bullshit me and tell me everything's fine. And you don't need to, don't make it, people get personally offended and they want to prove themselves I'm okay because they think people are going to think less of them. I mean, you're not going to impress me by telling me that you've forgiven them and that you're all okay. I don't buy it. You're looking for justice, and the other person, their nervous system is still going out of whack. Something isn't healed, clearly. When I got out of my marriage, which was a whole different thing, I had chronic tendonitis. My knee was swollen up like a basketball, my left knee. I wouldn't have been able to pick this up if it was full. It would have been too painful on my wrist and my hands. And I was told by doctors that I had, micro tears from all the martial arts or all the whatever I did, and it'll never heal and all that. You know what healed it? When I got out of my horrible marriage that I got a divorce from, I went to lots of therapy and I did a lot of work, 12-step work on myself. And then I went out and did all of the things that I wanted to do, and I made myself happy. I got out of my victim mentality and I went and did everything I wanted to do. Completely healed my body. My nervous system is telling me that it's healed from that. So again, if your body is going to tell you if something's up. Okay. All right. I don't have any more answers to that. There aren't any more questions that I can see. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I've got a bunch of other videos I got to make today because I'm behind schedule. So I'll go ahead and do that. And as you saw in one of the previous little sales pitches I gave you, go to courses.thunderwizard.com. Is this the one I want? Yeah. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all of my books, all of my teachings, everything that I offer, all the links to everything. Don't email me and say, how do I get your books? How do I do this? Go to that link. That'll have all the links will be there. If you want to support this channel, subscribe at thunderwizard.com. That is where you can subscribe to the Shamanism Mastery course. You can also subscribe to the Manifestation Mastery course. And then now I've started a new teaching within that subscription channel, which we're going to get started on, which is the union, the divine union of masculine and feminine. And that'll bring the teachings up to another level. So, of course, subscribe and hit the bell button. All right. No more questions. So that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. I wish you all the best. And I shall see you guys soon.